Hello, everyone. Today, we will thoroughly explore what is often called the greatest masterpiece of the giant of modern Japanese literature, Natsume Soseki, Kokoro. This work is not merely a story of friendship or love. It is a record of a soul's dissection, a work that depicts, with an almost cold-hearted precision, the dark and inescapably selfish part that lurks deep within the human heart, or Kokoro, egoism. The story begins when a lonely young student, our narrator I, meets an enigmatic intellectual whom he calls Sensei. Why does Sensei, despite having a beautiful wife, live as if hiding from the world? Why is he unable to trust other human beings from the bottom of his heart? And who lies sleeping in the Zashigaya cemetery, in the grave that he visits without fail every month? Let us now, together, open the door to the sad secret hidden within Sensei's Kokoro. The encounter and the enigma, Sensei and I. The story begins on a beach in Kamakura during summer vacation, where the student narrator, I, meets a mysterious man, intellectual, quiet, and possessing a certain shadow. The narrator naturally comes to call this person Sensei. Sensei seems to open his heart to the narrator, yet his life is shrouded in mystery. He lives a quiet life in a house in Tokyo with his beautiful wife, Shizu, without any particular occupation. But between the married couple flows a tense, cold air. And Sensei warns the narrator with these words, "Love, you see, is a sin, and I do not trust other people." The narrator finds himself strongly drawn to the deep loneliness and suffering that lie behind Sensei's words. What could have possibly happened in Sensei's past? The narrator wishes to somehow peel back the thick veil that covers Sensei's heart, but Sensei refuses to ever speak of its core. The Testament, Sensei and his letter. After graduating from university, the narrator is at his family home, caring for his ailing father. One day, a heavy, thick letter arrives from Sensei. It began with a dreadful announcement. By the time this letter reaches your hands, I will likely no longer be of this world. I am, from this moment, about to take my own life with my own hands. The letter was Sensei's testament. And it continued, I wish to tell you, and only you, everything about my past. Not to anyone else, but to you. From here, the story's perspective shifts to Sensei himself, and through his own words, the entirety of his mysterious past begins to be confessed in stark, naked detail. It was the record of a single tragedy caused by friendship, love, and an all-too-human egoism. The confession, the triangle of betrayal. Sensei's confession goes back to his student days. He had a single best friend, a man known only as K. K was a stoic and highly spiritual young man, born into a family of doctors, but choosing a path of asceticism to pursue his own truth, even if it meant being disowned by his family. He was the complete opposite of Sensei. Sensei respected K, and when K fell into financial difficulty, Sensei invited him to his own boarding house to live together. But in that boarding house lived the landlord's wife, the Okuzan, and her beautiful daughter, the Ojosen. And it was here that the gears of fate began to turn awry. Both Sensei and K, the man who was supposed to have renounced all worldly desires, fell in love with the same Ojosen. One night, K, after much torment, confesses his love for Ojosen to Sensei. The moment Sensei hears this confession, his heart is set ablaze by the flames of intense jealousy. He must have Ojosen for himself, even if it means outwitting his best friend, K. That ugly egoism took complete control of his heart. Without saying anything to K, Sensei acted preemptively, going directly to the Ojosen's mother and securing her permission to marry her daughter on the spot. A few days after he revealed this fact to K, K took his own life in his room. His suicide note contained only a few words, to the effect of wondering why he had not died sooner. The punishment, a life of guilt. After Kei's death, Sensei marries Ojosen, now his wife Shizu, just as he had wished. However, his life becomes completely cursed by the inescapable guilt of having betrayed Kei and driven him to his death. This guilt was not a loud, dramatic suffering, but a quiet, corrosive poison. He could never fully accept his wife's love because he felt unworthy of it. He saw the potential for betrayal in every human interaction because he could not escape the memory of his own. His deep learning and intelligence, which the narrator so admired, became tools for self-torment, constantly analyzing his own sin. This was the true nature of his punishment, a life sentence of isolation, served within the quiet confines of his own mind. He can never escape the fact that his own happiness is built upon the sacrifice of his best friend's life. He becomes unable to trust even his own wife, Shizu, from the bottom of his heart. This is because he has come to believe that all human beings, just like him, possess an ugly egoism that will lead them to betray others when it matters most. His life, unable to confess his past to anyone and tormented only by his guilt, transforms into a living hell. The spirit of the Meiji era. So, why did Sensei choose to die now? The direct trigger was the news he read in the paper. The death of Emperor Meiji, followed by the ritual suicide, Junshur, of General Nogi. Junshur, the act of following one's lord into death, was an old samurai tradition that had been banned in the modern Meiji era. General Nogi's decision to commit Junshur was therefore a shocking event that symbolized the dramatic and anachronistic end of an entire code of honor. For Sensei, it was a profound sign. He saw in Nogi's death the final gasp of the old, righteous spirit he had both admired and betrayed in his friend, Kei. In General Nogi's death, Sensei saw the end of an old era's beautiful spirit, a spirit of righteousness and loyalty. If Kei was the embodiment of that old spirit, then he, stained by egoism, was a man of the new era. Sensei resolved, just as the spirit of Meiji followed the emperor in death, I too shall follow the spirit of Meiji. His personal sin and loneliness are here, inseparably tied to the end of a single historical era, the Meiji era. His death was not just the death of an individual, but the death of the Kokoro that an entire era had possessed. What Natsume Soseki's Kokoro depicted was the horror of the sickness called egoism that lurks in the human heart, and the inescapable loneliness of the modern individual. This story poses a painful question to us all. We normally believe friendship and love to be beautiful things, but when they're placed on a scale against our own desires, can we truly say we would not betray another? Is there not a dark room, the same as Sensei's, hidden in the depths of your own Kokoro? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.